Hello, I just wanted to give a little dev update on what I've been doing with the Black Cat avatar again, which I have actually done before, but this time around it's going to be anchored around the world anchor. Can you believe it? What a choice of wording that I use for that. So you can see, the Black Cat has a good few objects that are not actually existent in the world. The billboard is custom made, the menu, the sign, the new poster that I added in the actual shop, $50. I always had the posters in my hand, but I never actually had it up in the restaurant itself, so I kind of had to put that up there. Yeah, we got all this stuff, but I kind of wanted to just show how this is working a little bit, and I'll show you what I did differently and all that sort of stuff. But basically, this is the optimized avatar that I showed off before. So if we go into items, it has my ID card, which is only in the optimized one. It has the newer notepad, which you can see in the bottom left. It has a fixed pencil, thank God. And yeah, it's got like the actual necktie that kind of sticks to the body rather than kind of phasing through the Black Cat itself. But all that stuff is good. I also have invisibility, that's kind of new. But what I've done new is I've added the world anchors to this avatar. So this is the optimized avatar. It was always on the older avatar, which I could show you real quick. Business Cat Old. And I've optimized the heck out of, well, actually, if we take a look at it, the Black Cat Old has 26 materials, 22 meshes, 111 texture memory. That's, for how much it actually has in it with all the buildings and stuff, that's not actually that bad. This avatar, on the other hand, has, where is it? This one has 15 material slots and 11 basic meshes and is pretty good all around. It's only got 10,000 polygons, despite the fact it's got an entire billboard, the entire cat itself, all this stuff. It's pretty well optimized, surprisingly. And the way I've done it is I put it through Blender instead of doing it on Unity. So you can see in Unity, you can see a little something to the right. I'll cover that in a second. In Unity, these are all one object, technically. So instead of having them be different like Unity meshes and stuff, we got all these in like, they're not all in one mesh. I could make them one mesh, but I have not at this point. I could, but I don't think it's worth it. But yeah, typically you just throw in items and they'd all be separate, but this is actually a packaged item in a Blender project. In the Blender project, I remade the entire like Black Cat relative positioning stuff. So all this is in its correct positioning. Like this is how far it is physically in the world. It took a lot of trial and error because I have to save and republish it every time, but it's actually not too hard because if you use the blend file directly, it just automatically updates in Unity, and then you just go through the control panel and build and publish and do that all through again. But it's a pretty well optimized avatar. I'm really glad I've been able to update it to have all the world object stuff in it now. But what you might have seen, I kind of gave you a little glimpse of it, is I've added more stuff. And of course, I've done this before. I've done this with the gigantic building that you saw in the background of the Black Cat 2 video sort of thing. That was a scrapped video that there wasn't much going on there, but basically the entire premise of that is what the Black Cat 2 was built, but then it went up in flames. So this time around, October's coming up, and the Black Cat pitched that he wants to sell tickets to see the Shrine Maiden turn into a demon. So what he's done is he basically made the entire shrine a prison. So you can see I added an entire barbed wire fence around the entirety of the shrine. I've painstakingly, it wasn't that bad, but painstakingly added these fences in just the right proportions to get the entire shrine, the building on the side and everything, and added a little ticket opening right here. The only entrance that you can go in and out of is this tiny little ticket opening. And I'll show you that in world. So let's go run up there real quick. So again, this is all technically Blender stuff, but now it's anchored in the world itself. And now the shrine looks like a prison. So Here's the shrine. It's got the entirety of it encapsulated, which actually makes it, surprisingly, it makes it feel more homely because now you know only one entrance is there, so you can't have anything coming through the forest or anything. But it's a whole ass prison, I'll tell you what. Of course, there's nothing in here and there's no actual door here, but I'm pretty proud of it. One thing that I had to do is, of course, when you grab these fences and everything, this is actually one mesh that didn't used to be. It was just a bunch of meshes, or not even a bunch. It was like 2 for each wall. And I combined all of them so it didn't, use a ton of materials. And effectively, I had to do a bunch of UV mapping so it didn't stretch as much. So you can see some of these are rather long. I don't know if I could... I think this might be the fence. No, that's the concrete right there. You can see if it was just normal, it'd just be stretched out concrete. So I just had to extend it. I had to remake the actual textures that were provided with the material just so they could be tileable, because if you kind of go off bounds, it'll just loop. But you can't do it if it's like how it was, which was kind of fucky. But I did all that, and now we have an entire fence. And the reason why I want to do this all in Blender is, of course, you can't do that in Unity whatsoever. You have to do that in Blender if you want, at least somewhat optimized stuff, because you can combine all the meshes. You can't do that in Unity easily. And you just have a ton more, I don't know, versatility with just doing all this stuff. So all of that has been remade in Blender. I had to reposition every single item here. But in doing that, I've been able to remake the entire Black Cat avatar to have that. Of course, there's a separate Black Cat avatar. I want to make sure, the optimized one isn't actually affected by the Japan Streets World Anchor stuff. So, of course, it's in a separate avatar and everything. But I'm pretty proud of what I've been able to do. It's pretty fun, especially even just getting a poster in here. It's extremely easy. All I have to do is go into Blender. I just have to make a plane here, wherever it is, mesh plane. You just kind of make a plane, and then you just have to size it to whatever the dimensions of the original image was, which in this case was just like a 16:9, which is why this poster is so long, by the way. It's just a 16:9 photo because, it takes in 1080p or whatever. But yeah, that's what I got going on. Hopefully the next Citywide goes pretty well, and I'll be able to show all this off, and we'll have funny antics around the ticket booth over here. But I can't promise that because sometimes it just doesn't go as planned. It might be kind of hard to roleplay up here as the Black Cat getting tickets because, of course, the demon's supposed to be up here, so I don't know how I'm gonna stay up here. We'll fuck around and find out, though. But yeah, I just wanted to show this off because I took a decent bit of effort to get all this working, get all the barbed wire looking nice, nothing stretched. And, this is the stuff that I do for Citywide, so we can have a little funner of experience, make it a little more built in the world, because if you just use the world, with the roleplay we're doing, with the wanting to demolish the shrine and everything, you kind of gotta throw some stuff in here. But yeah, that was what I've done with the Black Cat so far. And Citywide.dev/hub for the Discord and YouTube updates. I'll let you know if I add anything on the updates channel. But other than that, I'll see you around.